Thanks again for coming. So, nice.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, cool. So because of today's one, it's funny 'cause when we came up with the theme, social media and mainstream, it happened on the same day I saw a headline. Slindi Lenodan Island quits acting to open a sex school. Right. I remember I was on my couch, I saw it, and we had been talking with Pam the previous night, so I screamed it, grabbed it, and sent it to her. I was like, look at what's happening.
Yeah.
Right. So that's Umzansi.
Yeah.
We can do that, right? We can.
No, that happens everywhere. I mean, there has to be a clear distinction between tabloid,
yes,
and fake news,
yeah,
and real news. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think it's just a social media thing. It's a media thing as well. It's a journalism thing as well. It's getting harder and harder to get stories verified because the time to break stories has just shortened so much. Because if you're gonna take a week trying to verify the story,
a week now is a year.
Do you know what I mean? Next thing you know, people are running with that. So you find that journalists, especially entertainment journalists, are under a lot of pressure to break stories as quickly as they possibly can. But I think, back to what you were saying, I think it's very important that there's a clear distinction between real journalism or real stories that are in a reputable journalist platform and stories that are just broke by a Tabo who's sitting at home.
and it is, because it bugged me out, because I really felt like her response even, and this is no disrespect or insult to her, but her response kind of gave me that idea of, okay, we've kind of normalized it, because she posted it as well, and I think it was something along the lines of the disrespect that we face in South Africa. Yeah. But it was kind of in a, what are you going to do?
I mean, like, if I was managing her, I mean, that's one of the ways that I would go. I mean, because here's the thing. Stories on social media have a lifespan of 24 hours, maybe 48 at the most. You know what I mean? Yeah. And sometimes turning a story like that into a joke and moving on is the best way to go, because sometimes when you try to defend something, that's when you feel it and give it credence. Yeah. And then I remember there was a situation with an actress on one of on the Queen, rather. Yeah. Let me just say it. Don't kill me, Connie.
Unfiltered, it has to be.
You know what I mean? There was a story that was happening, and it was a story that was all over the place. And I remember the producers of the show calling me and saying, "Phil, we want to give you our side of the story. Okay, this is what happened from our side." And I was like, okay, cool, I get it, but that's not really new information. Yeah. However, if I rather go with this, then I'm keeping the lifespan of the story longer.
True.
You understand? All you have to do is just let it run its course. By Friday there'll be a new story out there.
But what about the influence and the impact of the story? Because I mean, especially in the acting scene, credibility is everything, right?
But here's the thing. No. Here's the thing. If any producer would have a problem with you simply because of a story that comes from an unverifiable source on social media, then that is the wrong place to be to begin with. Do you understand? I cannot imagine a real producer who's got a good reputation or who's got the good credentials having a problem with somebody writing a salacious story about you on social media. Do you understand? It's one thing if, like, I'll give you an example. You know that boy from, I think it's Rhythm City or Scandal, one of these shows, Scandal.
Yeah.
Who was arrested at a brothel.
Oh, good.
Okay. You see, that is a story that can damage a reputation for a production. And if Scandal had fired him, I would understand.
Right.
Makes
sense.
But they stuck by him. But you understand, because there is a story where he was arrested. There's a record that he was arrested. So all the reports that are coming from a record that he was arrested, not we think he was arrested kind of situation. So a story like that is very, 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 very different to a story that just pops up on social media. Yeah.
Does it work like that? Because we've seen in many cases what happens on social media, and it having such a loud voice on productions now. Personally, I've gone out on a limb to say a lot of people on screen now have been casted largely because of their social media following and their presence.
Look, television has evolved, obviously. Content platforms have evolved, and the audience that producers and content creators are trying to attract have evolved as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't only happen in South Africa; it happens in Hollywood as well. When certain people get opportunities, I mean, like the Kardashians, for instance, there's certain opportunities that they get that they wouldn't get unless they had the numbers that they have on social media.
True.
Look, and I get it, for people who've studied the craft, people who love the industry and stuff like that, it could be problematic that people are now getting jobs simply because they've got this many followers on social media. But at the same time, you have to look at the flip side. The flip side is that television is a business. It's a business of numbers. So they need those, especially with the young viewers, they need those young viewers engaged. And sometimes to get them engaged is to get people that they know, people that they're familiar with. And look, it's a beast that we're going to have to deal with. As long as my issue would be if that becomes the dominant thing. Like one of the issues that I have is when actors go to audition, they are asked about followers. That for me, it's a no-no. You know, if a production goes out and just offers somebody who is a social media whatever a job to be in a series, it's one thing. But if production companies are going to be at the casting table saying, okay,
how many followers do you have?
know, imagine saying to Nambi Tampumulwana or Jamie Bartlett or whatever, how many followers do you have?
it's crazy. But we're there though.
I don't think we're there. You know, look, I'm being honest. I think we need to be very careful sometimes of not sensationalizing the information that we put out there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Believe you me, social media influence has not changed our industry that much. It's the same thing, like, you know, South Africa is not like Hollywood, even though we get in there in some traction. You look at traditional media and new media, which is like your digital platform and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In South Africa, traditional media is still, they might not be doing as great as they were doing, but they're still doing very well. More people are most likely to believe a story that they get from a newspaper or a magazine that they would a story that they get on social media. And that is the honest truth. But anywhere else in the world, that has flipped. So South Africa is still a little slower. Like you even look at television. A lot of people look at who still watches TV. You know, who still watches SABC One. Yeah. But guess what? The numbers show a different trend. Like even with the introduction of new channels. I remember when Mzansi Magic was being introduced. A lot of people were saying, Mzansi Magic is going to take all the viewers from SABC.
True.
What those very same people will not tell you right now is that actually since Mzansi Magic has existed and all these other channels have existed, SABC doubled their primetime viewers, because at that time, like 5-6 years ago, Generation's highest numbers were 6 million rand. Now it's sitting at 9 million rand.
Wow, that's a 3
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes perception is not reality, and for us people who work in the business, it's incumbent on us to kind of like make sure that when we have these conversations, we don't go with the hype. We don't go with the hype of perception, but we actually tell the truth, because we don't want people that are sitting at home that want to get into the industry to be discouraged and think that the industry is falling apart when it's going through a decline, but it's not there yet.
Yeah. So if I were to put out the statement, people are getting jobs. Mm-hmm. Not again, careful of sensationalizing it, but there are people that are being casted because of their influence and their brand.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, look. He's a friend of mine. I love him to bits. Mushandiki is only on the Queen because he is who he is. Do you know what I mean? And even if I was sitting with Shona and Connie here, I would challenge them on that, because I mean, look, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to make people understand, that it would be one thing if the whole cast is filled with social media people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But if you've got a strong cast and then you sprinkle 2 or 3 people that will just bring in the numbers, what's wrong with that?
I can respect that. Mm-hmm. That I think that is actually helpful. It's good business.
And the Queen is number 1 right now on DSTV.
Yeah, that's But my issue comes in when that happens, but the talent doesn't meet the online following. When you with an untrained eye just sitting at home, you can even spot that, oh no, Phil is not acting well over there, but Phil has a healthy online following. Do you understand? You know what I'm saying?
No, I get that, but you see, that in itself is very subjective. I'll give you an example. Like when this Lasizwe boy came into the scene, I was like, oh my god, what the hell is this? Because I just could not get it. I don't find him that funny. There's nothing about him that excites me, that says, oh my god, this is a new thing in the industry, he's bringing whatever. However, I had to understand something, that I'm not the target market, because when I sit with my nieces and my nephews, they love him. They get his humor. They get his content. So clearly, I could be sitting somewhere saying, this boy has no talent. But what is talent? Do you understand? If you are able to attract millions and millions of people to watch your content, what are they watching? Do you understand? And I think sometimes we as creatives can be a bit snobbish about our industry, and think we know better. Oh, this is acting. This can't be acting. Or this, you can't be a celebrity. Hey, if millions and millions of people are celebrating somebody, he is a celebrity.
Inavoidable fact.
Do you know what I mean? So I think we need to be open to new ways of content and how content is received. And in that way, we're not shutting the doors to people, but at least we're creating a wider platform.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this. The name's already out. So if we take a case like Lasizwe, right?
Yeah.
He's got his respective audience, his fan base. It's good. Now, what are your thoughts if, I'm not saying him specifically, but someone in that position, that particular case, because of the following that I now have, if that is something that I allow to go to my head, and then I'm thinking, man, I can take Phil on in whatever he's doing because I've got my people, right? I have an arrogance of some sort of, no, I can go with Phil. I can challenge Pamela Novet. I can challenge Siyabonga Twala, or whoever the case is, simply because I have 2 million people behind my back. And so you end up going to places where you don't particularly have the expertise and the skills, but rather
look. For me, it's a difficult question to answer, because here's how I look at it.
Yeah.
I look at it in this way. Just because Phila started off as a blogger, it doesn't mean he can't be a good television presenter.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes people have this thing of wanting to box you and say, because you started off as this is who you are, this is what you do, don't trade here.
Yeah.
And the wonderful thing about our industry and what we do is that you can try different things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So I wouldn't want to say Lasizwe can't be on Rhythm City without me seeing Lasizwe on Rhythm City and seeing that he can.
He's actually good.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he gets on Rhythm City and he sucks, yes, that's one thing.
He's got to go.
He's gotta go, but I wouldn't want to be in a position to advocate that people should not venture into new avenues, or people should not get opportunities simply because they are known as this. Look, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is the highest paid actor right now. Yeah. Do you understand? And he makes the most money with his movie, the highest grossing actor right now. But he comes from wrestling. He has no training, like a formal training. In acting and all of that. And imagine if we had stuff like that. Somebody like him would never have gotten that chance.
Yeah. It was far away.
Yeah.
I'm itching. I have to talk about the monster of our time, Black Twitter.
Yes.
Right. How relevant is it in the process of creating content for the from up top at the broadcasters to the production houses to the actors on screen?
Look, it's very relevant in that I remember when I got into the industry and when I started my writing and stuff with TVSA, that's where people used to go. Like, people would watch an episode and then they would go to TVSA and talk about what they saw on TV, what they think of what's happening on TV and stuff like that. But that would generally happen the day later or a week later, like
it was
that.
Too late.
And now you've got this congregation of black people. Well, not necessarily black, but because Black Twitter is not actually necessarily just black.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Sensation.
Yeah. So you've got a congregation of these people where they get to, in real time, react to your content as a producer. In real time, react to your music as an artist. And I think that is a very valuable thing to have. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes, like I said, the arts industry has a snobbish way about it that is detached from the reality on the ground. A lot of the time you find that people that are elevated to a certain level of stardom, especially here in South Africa, if you look at their numbers, there's no correlation. These people are just elevated because they just happen to be friends with the right people. They just happen to be the one person that the journalist liked and the media decided to amp them up and make them this star. But when you look at how many people watch their shows, the numbers are low. How many people actually buy their product? Numbers are low. How did this person become such a big star when you've got this person who is watched by 9 million people, can attract, you know, things like that. So, with Black Twitter, for me personally, I think Black Twitter balances that out because Black Twitter will tell you who they think is a star and is amazing. You understand? In real time. So it's very much relevant and it's also very helpful as well in terms of information, in terms of sharing ideas, and in terms of influencing the culture that we're in. You know, there are certain things that I see and I'm like, you know, if nobody has said that on Twitter,
it's not it.
It'll be happening, yeah.
I'm with you, but my itch usually comes in when I think it's great, like Twitter, its existence, its functionality, and what it does, and just its influence in the culture, because you can't ignore its presence. It's there. But you know, I get worried when, and weigh in on this. I get worried when the industry now seems to be dancing to the strings of Black Twitter, because you know how they'll throw it out, and then
I get what you're saying. I absolutely get what you say. I think I might have actually tweeted about it or blogged about it in my time about having social media dictate content on television, having social media dictate content in the script rooms. You know, when writers are writing, they're not writing authentic stories. They're not writing. They're just writing. It's Twitter. You know,
you can see it when they're acting. Like,
no, exactly, because that dilutes the authenticity of content, and that kind of like elevates melodrama too much, and which is what we're seeing. I mean, like, I like watching Mzansi Magic, but let's be real. Mzansi Magic is full of melodrama, and guess what? That's what they think people want because that's what they see on Twitter trending.
Yes.
You know, and you need to understand that the difference between South Africa and the UK and the US is that we don't have focus groups here. In South Africa, we don't have the pilot system where a show is given a certain period to run, and then the broadcaster will then have a focus group and say, okay, fine. Okay, this is the show. If they want to keep it or they want to let it go, they'll be like, okay, fine. This is our demo thing, a viewership. So what do you think of the show? And people will give their honest opinion of the show and whatever. And then decisions will be made based on that. Sometimes a pilot will be shot and then it will air. If it doesn't do well, then it doesn't get commissioned for a series.
Yeah.
Now, in South Africa, we don't have any of that. So in South Africa, what happens is that they agree there. They put something on TV.
You gotta take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. Do you know what I mean? And then in a situation like that, then it's no longer about the content of that production. It's more about chasing the numbers. So the channel expects ratings.
Yes.
So if I can get as much melodrama and as much
just to bring in those
numbers, we're good. Do you know what I mean? So the years, well, they're still there. I don't want to say that that era is over of wanting to write a show that is compelling. I don't think it's over, but I would say that because of, and that's a negative aspect of social media and Black Twitter, because of it, in terms of our industry, a lot of content has been diluted to the most basic.
It's true. Well, we spoke, I think it was with Angus.
Yeah.
Same chair. We were talking about that again, because I asked though, because a lot of the content on Mzansi Magic, particularly, it's a repetition of the same thing.
Yeah.
Different faces, but the same. It's all in the same stream, and you can see it when it's being acted out there.
Yeah.
I can actually see these writers in the room. So like Twitter came up in this, the phrasing and the scripts and the lines and all of that. And so, as much as you can appreciate the influence of social media, but you don't want it to be the one that's telling those stories through these actors.
Exactly. But then what do you do? If that's what the channel wants, what are they supposed to do? Because here's the thing. I mean, you look at, there was a show called Doubt.
Yes.
That was an amazingly well scripted, very story driven series.
Yeah.
But it was not popular on social media for some reason. You understand? Because it didn't have the melodrama. It didn't have your Petronella. It didn't have your Brutus and all these people, right? And where is it now? It hasn't. I don't know if it had 2 seasons or whatever, but it's gone now. It never came back. Do you understand?
Right.
Istunzi is a great production. Do you understand? But it too is not very popular on social media. So I don't know. Maybe because of the Emmy nomination, that might give it a bit of a chance to come back. But I wouldn't be surprised if it too doesn't come back.
Yeah, I put my money in it not coming back as well.
Probably.
Are we there though? If
look.
By there I mean if we don't get a popping on the gram or Twitter, then
absolutely. Absolutely, because you need to realize that now with Netflix and all these pay TV platforms, especially DSTV is under so much pressure to keep their subscribers. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
I was having a conversation with somebody the other day. As much as I put the ratings out there, whatever, but sometimes people need to understand the context. Like, okay, fine. DSTV is not like SABC, where SABC, they just need the numbers so that they can attract advertisers. DSTV works in a different way because DSTV needs to keep you on there paying for your subscription.
Every month.
Every month. Do you know what I mean? So what that means is that if majority of the people that are there want this kind of content, they have no choice but to give them that content, because they don't want to give them a different content for artistic merit and then they lose them, because that's when they lose the money. It's a business kind of thing. So yeah, we're absolutely there. We're absolutely there because now content is dictated to not by the will or the intention of the producers or the storytellers to tell a compelling story, but it's more dictated to by what's happening out there and who's receiving it.
It's a dangerous space.
I know.
It's a very dangerous.
But you see, that is why it's important then. That is why then it's important for us to start creating alternative platforms for content.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
Because if you don't want to see melodrama, if there's another platform where you can, because believe me, there is an audience out there that wants to see real storytelling, real compelling stories and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
And there has to be a platform for them. And unfortunately, that's not going to happen on DSTV because they're chasing,
different game.
The SABC is going through its own issues right now. So digital platform is that. It's a space for me that I think would be ideal to create a platform where people can actually go there to. You see, let me put it this way. You see, like in America, for instance, they are fans for different genres. Of content.
That industry, do
you know, because the industry,
everybody has a place.
Everybody has a place. So if you like period films, you probably have like a platform where you can just enjoy that. You know, if you like, but in South Africa we're not there yet. We're not at a space where content can be, categorized into niche markets.
Yeah, it's a crazy place. It's a 2-part question, but I want us to talk about this for the actors. Now we'll freeze the producers and the directors and all of that. Now for the actors in South Africa, is social media and mainstream media, if we just connect the two for this one, are they helping? Or by that I mean, are there publications that are in some way, shape or form actually progressing the lives and the careers
Oh,
for actors,
absolutely.
helping to, you know, keep the balance, if we will, or make sure there's order.
Absolutely. I mean, you see, that's the thing. You need to understand that there are different types of performers. There are performers who are stars, you know,
Yeah.
who are stars, and then you've got performers who are just artists, you know. I'll give you an example. Like, there's a guy in America called William H. Macy.
Yeah.
He's been around. He's well respected in Hollywood, but he will never be a Robert De Niro or a, you know, because that's not where he is.
Yeah.
But he's always working.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then you've got somebody like a Scarlett Johansson, who is a star. So he's very commercial.
Yeah. Maybe not as talented, but
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So there's those two things. So it depends on who are those people that you're talking about. Because if you say that we're talking about their commercial stars,
yeah.
of course, social
Commercial they'll always have. I mean, they it's like celebrities.
Yeah,
There's always
you
going to
understand?
be. But I'm like, let's do like the real, the talented, the talent. Basically.
No, but who says commercial actors are not talented?
No, they are. But I mean, the ratio.
Because
the ratio is not
here's
healthy.
here's how I look at performers.
Yeah.
Whether they're musicians or they're actors, I look at them in this way. Whether you study it or not, when you make the decision that you get into the industry, you make a choice. Am I getting into this industry to make money, or to acquire accolades, or to be well respected?
Got you.
Sometimes you want all three of them.
Which is fine.
Sometimes you just want one.
Yes.
Mind you, I didn't say anything about talent. Do you know what I mean?
No, you didn't.
Because just because somebody is looking for fame doesn't mean that they're not talented. There are a lot of talented people who amass fame by doing 2 or 3 projects, or who get fame that has nothing to do with their talent actually. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you look at Kanyimbawa, for instance. Kanyimbawa is a strong actress. Like, that girl can act, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But when you look at her fame is not about her acting.
Yeah,
it's about
other
everything else that
things.
happens. So what I like.
Yeah.
So my thing is that when you say the media isn't helping who? Because at the end of the day, it depends on what you are and where you want to get.
Got you.
Do you know what I mean? So if my intention is fairly just to sit in the back burner and just do my thing without anybody bothering me, then the media does nothing.
It's not. Yeah. It's not for you.
Yeah, you understand. But if I am Phil, who's saying that, okay, fine, I'm giving myself 5 years, and by the end of these 5 years, I want to be known, I want to be making money from endorsements, I want to be doing A, B, C, D, E, then I need the media.
Yeah.
You understand? That's why I would not ask, why don't you have a website? Why don't you have publicity pictures? Or whatever?
Oh,
She
yeah.
doesn't need those.
Different,
You understand?
different lane. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I encounter like as a young person who's saying, oh my God, you know, people are always, this media is always ignoring us, we never on the cover and stuff like that. I'm like, do you have a manager?
Mm.
Do you have a manager? No. Okay, do you have a website? No. Do you ever take publicity shots? No. So like, because
Why are you complaining?
a Pel 2C, a Bonang, whatever. What part of the reasons why these people get to work with them a lot of the time is because it's easy to work with them. You understand? There's no hassle. You know,
Yeah.
they've got their own team. It's a well-oiled machine. You know, they are a business unto themselves.
Yeah.
Whereas certain people are not. So you cannot be blaming the media or all these other external issues when somebody's not doing well if they are not making the effort
Or
to get there. Because if they are, then you and I would be having a different conversation. When you're saying, oh, these guys go out there, try to get endorsements or try to do whatever, then nobody's looking at them.
Out, yeah.
Then that's a different conversation.
Yeah. I think you tweeted this. It was the figures for Mbongeni Ngema's Asinaman, right? $5,000 or something for opening weekend and whatnot. We had a few days ago with a friend. We were trying to unpack this, like how.
Look, that's also a very like it's a complicated whatever, because there are many facets to that. One is screen allocation. I'll give you an example. Like this past weekend, for instance, right? Struum Op, which is an Afrikaans film, had 60 screens. Ne?
Damn.
Farewell Ella Bella, which stars
Silver
Silverback and Jay Ainsley, only got 20. Strum Om made almost 1 million rand just from last week.
Opening all
from
week.
those 60 screens.
Yeah.
Whereas Farewell Ella Bella only made about 68,000. So that's where the screen allocation issue comes in.
Yeah.
It's that. But now, even with that screen allocation situation, there's also the element of especially black films are allocated lower screen count simply because a lot of them don't do well if they're given too many screens.
Yeah.
You know, perfect example being Five Fingers.
For Marseille.
It got like 57 screens, but it performed poorly. You had what's that one with Solomon Mahlangu? Yeah,
Kalushi.
but what's it called? Kalushi.
Yeah, Kalushi.
Yes, Kalushi.
Sabora made it.
Kalushi.
Yeah.
It also performed poorly.
That was heartbreaking to see that.
You understand? So again, it goes to what we were talking about in television.
Yeah.
Ster-Kinekon, New Metro are businesses. They cannot be giving you 60 screens that are going to be empty.
Yeah. But why? Because I would assume Five Fingers from Marseille. My initial response was it's hard for me to go watch it because I don't connect.
Yeah.
Right? Western Africa.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's the first, but like, come on, let's be. But for Galusha, I was like, oh man, we gotta watch. I was intrigued. That one and The Wound. I was like, oh man, these are okay, good stories. I'd be curious.
But you see, the difference between you and majority of South Africans is a lot of them will tell you, if you have a conversation with them about our film, that, we are so tired of political films. We are so tired of films about AIDS.
Yeah.
We are so tired.
Which is fair. To say.
Do you know what I mean?
Been regurgitating
and the other thing, because we don't have trailers on TV here in South Africa, a lot of the people don't even know what the film is about. They just go by what somebody else tells them.
It's true.
Because you look at Five Fingers, for instance. I mean, you were able to discern that you won't connect with it because you saw the trailer. You understand? A lot of people don't have that privilege of seeing that because a lot of people are not on social media. I mean, like sometimes when you talk about social media, people need to understand when you talk about social media that social media, there's only like 8 million accounts in South Africa that are on Twitter, for instance.
Crazy.
Of that 8 million, you've got about maybe 30% that's inactive. You know.
Yeah.
The rest 7% that's left are not active every day, or they are different. So you've got your gay Twitter, you've got your black Twitter, you've got your white Twitter, you've got your whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by the time you get to people who are interested in film, you're probably left with like 2 million, and then you still have to.
You break them down as well.
Those who are interested in comedy, those who are interested in international film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So social media is one thing, and we need to get out of this thing of thinking that just because we are aware of something, the rest of the country
everyone else is on.
And also in terms of our films, the way we understand them before they come out, in terms of what we're seeing as the trailer, the posters, because we have access to reading about the reviews and stuff like that.
Yes.
A lot of people in South Africa don't have that luxury, do you understand, or don't have that access to that. So their understanding of a film and them going to spend money on that film is totally different from you and I.
It's a hell of a gamble.
Yeah. So that's one facet. It's a screen allocation or whatever.
Yeah.
The other thing then will be money. Money.
From marketing or?
Yeah, money influencing
the
way that we market our films. Marketing in this country, it is horrendous. Do you understand? And when I say money, I'm not just talking about the lack of money. I'm also talking about the non-innovative way of using money. Do you understand? Because here's the thing. I think last year about 3 or 4 films were given 200,000 rand for promotion by the NFVF. Right? Ingaba was one of them.
200,000.
Yeah, 200,000 each. Ne?
Okay.
Okay, no, you laugh. But here's the thing. 200,000 is a lot of money in South Africa. If you're doing a film in South Africa for the South African market, that is a lot of money. And I'll tell you why I'm saying it's a lot of money. Okay? If you are innovative enough to barter services, to come up with new ways. I mean, there are these kids who have like access to these many people on social media.
Use
them.
Yeah.
Obviously, that kid is not going to want 150,000 rand from you.
10 grand a day.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you went to schools and found kids in schools who have influence on other kids, and take them to come and watch your film.
Yeah.
Pay them 1,000 rand to come and watch the film and go tell their friends about the film. So that 200 rand, if you can think outside of the box and be innovative, that 200,000 rand is a lot of money. But now what you just did right now, it's what a lot of people in Jozi and in the urban areas do. Is that you are thinking 200,000? You're already thinking in a Hollywood kind of way.
No,
you are.
No. This is why I laugh. 200,000 because the fact that it would be allocated that much money, right? Okay. Not to say what you would, before we get to what you would do with 200,000, but the fact that you were given that, it's the same thing as, it's off top, but like a couple of actors we've had conversations about, they tell the funniest stories about how much they've been offered for a role, right? The lowest amounts, and you hear it and then you laugh, like in a financier's mind, how is it even okay to put that money and say, go do this, right? Before we get to, okay, it's not a lot, but I'm gonna figure out how I can, you know what I mean?
But in terms of films, though, you need to also understand that. Okay, let me just put it this way. This is my biggest gripe with filmmakers in South Africa, is that we need to stop thinking that government should finance our films.
I'm with you.
We need to start making our films attractive to investors, private investors. Do you understand? Because this thing of always looking to NFVF to finance the film,
it's detrimental to us.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is that when films are financed by government, there are certain restrictions that are put on them.
Very censored.
Yeah, it gets very censored and sanitized, too sanitized, kind of thing. So I think we need to get to a point where, especially for black filmmakers, we need to get to a point where we make our films attractive to private investors, and that way we'll be able to create budgets that would be able to have better promotion and better marketing. I mean, there's a film that's coming up. I think it's going to be out next year. It's called Water Sown in My Skin or On My Skin. But it's directed by a guy called Jamil Kubek. He's the guy who directed the series on HTV called Hustle. You know, the show that was kind of like sort of based on Brenda Fassie. He's an amazing. I mean, if you see that trailer, it's a period film, right?
Yeah.
It's a period film in the 1800s, whatever, and the costume is on point. The cinematography is on point and all of that.
Yeah.
But when you look at where the money is coming from, it's coming from Germany. It's a corporate action. so the Germans are putting money in there.
But this is how they always kill us.
Do you know
it's
what I mean?
not one country, it's
but,
the other.
Yeah, but it's private financiers that are making sure that Jamil's ideas can be realized.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Now imagine if we created that here at home, where we made sure that private investors come on board and they can finance our films. I believe that we would see amazing.
We would. I always say that the amount of undiscovered talent that we have is beyond words.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's just the way that we use it and the models that we follow and all of that.
I just remember this now. Sorry, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with a scriptwriter the other day who was like, Phil, you go on Twitter and just blast us for writing stupid stories. But when you don't understand that, I'm sitting at home thinking, this character should be in a car and then it hits the wall and then it blows up. And then I get into the office, they're like, oh, hell no. The tire. We need the tire.
They well, come on, the tire.
And he was right. He was right that creativity in South Africa is kind of like in some way limited by money and limited by...
You have to think within the confines.
You know what I mean?
He's right. It's painful. And you see... I always laugh because you see some content creators, they'll force it and they'll try by all means.
Exactly.
But it just doesn't come out right.
It goes to something as simple as where you shoot your series or whatever. A lot of South African television series, whatever, are shot in studio or indoors for the same reason that shooting outside is costly.
It costs. But again, like you said, I agree with that point you put, outside of the box thinking. Yeah. I remember I had a conversation with Hamilton one time.
Yeah.
We were talking basically about similar thing, and we were talking about one project, and his immediate response was, take it out of Joburg.
Yeah.
Like, before this person finished, even he was like, take it out of Joburg, put it anywhere else, just not in Joburg. We have too many Joburg shows. You know, we have an amazing country. We need to see that. And when he said it was like that, it actually sparked him, because I started noticing that a lot of these shows, even if it supposedly the story is emanating from KZN or Free State or whatever, it just comes back to Joburg, and then that comes out.
Exactly, because that cuts costs. I mean, if you saw the budgets for Uzalo, for instance, and it's a studio-based show, but their budgets are like ridiculously high. You know, simply because they are outside of Johannesburg. You know, I mean, but then on the other hand, you've got shows like the Expresso and all these shows that are from Cape Town. They are okay because they are able to make a lot of money from advertising. You know, I mean, Expresso is one of the most lucrative shows in the country because they do a lot of like product placement, a lot of advertising, and all of that. So that's why I think black content being attractive to brands is the way of the future, and that will change content completely, because people get excited about Netflix. I am too. But unless we solve these issues like unionization and
it's going to be a problem.
Not much. It's not going to be. It's just going to be another platform where the same things are happening.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean?
True.
There's
true. Man, do you think we can compete?
Compete with whom?
With Netflix. Like if it would come, like it's like an ongoing joke now. If when Netflix touches down Mzansi Magic,
here's the thing.
SABC and
Netflix will have a big problem in South Africa, because for you to access Netflix, you need to have internet, and the best way of doing it is to have uncapped internet or fiber. Only about 1% or whatever of the population has that. Has internet, and of that only whatever. So it's gonna have a problem with that. So I don't think that it's gonna make that much of an impact for like 10 years. But I think the challenge, especially because you need to remember that as much as Mzansi Magic is DSTV's biggest channel, whatever, but they need premium subscribers, because that's where the money is. You know, I remember people were saying, why do they have to have One Magic? But you don't understand. They need top tier black viewers, and they need to give them something exclusive. Because if you are a black viewer, and the only thing that you have is Mzansi Magic, why would you want to have a premium subscription?
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense, you know what I mean? So, but then if you have something that is geared towards black audiences, but it's on an exclusive platform, then they are able to make money. So, the only challenge that Netflix would have for DSTV, for me, in my own opinion, is with the top tier subscribers. But I don't see Utabo leaving DSTV, where he's paying 250 for his compact whatever to see the Queen and whatever else that he's watching there, to go onto Netflix, where as much as he's going to be paying like 100 rand subscription, but he needs to have internet that will cost him like 300, 400 or 600 more.
I think you're right. I'm siding with that, but I also think what that move is doing what I feel we are failing to do, which is look into the future.
Do you know who could challenge DSTV? It's actually Cell C with their black platform. Because the black platform, remember, you can use it anyway in the country, as long as you can have data on your cell phone or your SIM card and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And you're not even charged on that data, whatever. I think there's somebody will explain it better. But compared to Netflix, in terms of South Africa, they have a better chance, but now the issue for them is acquiring content that is appealing.
But again, it's in South Africa, because you get content, but on a crappy budget. It's repetition.
So the only challenge would be in the foreseeable future would be the black platform, but now they would have to get content. Now, if they are smart, Junaid, but if they are smart, what they would do is that they would open up the black platform for young creatives that I cannot get a chance to get onto. You see, the thing that we were talking about earlier on, where we can tell compelling stories without being worried about subscribers, whatever, and Twitter. Black can be that.
It's supposed to be that.
Can be a platform where they say, you know what, you've got an idea for a TV show, whatever, come to us. Let's strike a deal. And instead of trying to take everything from the producer. They say, okay, let's barter. Let's do it this way. We put your whatever on your content on our platform, and then we make 50-50 of whatever revenue that comes from that.
I think we're not equipped to think that way. The elites in any way.
I suppose
the powers that be, because again, you can see it in the business practices. It's really just focused on now and how we've always done things.
Yeah.
But the next 5 and 10 years, we're not, like you said, Netflix is gonna come. You put a prediction on 10 years, then it starts like 10 years though. It's nothing, you know.
Okay, but not all of us though, because here's the thing. Look, I've been trying to get into television for the longest time, but you see, I know what I want, and I know what I want to do. I've been offered opportunities to do television that did not fit into where I see myself and whatever. Do you know what I mean? And this year I came to a point where, you know what?
Whatever.
If they're not going to give you an opportunity to do what you think you're capable of doing, then go to a different platform. And guess what? This year I was like, okay, YouTube, lucky, YouTube started doing this, YouTube TV, where you can actually have episodes like, which was great. Now, I'm on YouTube. I've just finished hosting the very first after show in South Africa that's commissioned by a broadcaster.
Yeah.
That was amazing. You know what I mean? So we need to think like that. You can't just be sitting at home with an idea and a concept and saying you only want your concept to be on TV.
It doesn't help anymore. Though.
Doesn't help anymore. You understand? And we also can't just create content that is appealing to South African audiences. Because
global now.
The reason why a lot of South Africans are not making money on YouTube is because their content is too niche. You know, it's too South African. You understand? Whereas sometimes you want, as much as you want people to know that you're a South African, but you need to, your content, I need to be sitting in Canada and look at your content, still see it as a South African thing, but still find something interesting that would appeal to me. And that's why we need to be teaching these young kids that are coming into the industry and trying to create content that think beyond the borders of South Africa, think beyond television, that, oh my God, I just need to be on television, or I just need to create content for television.
Yeah.
Because by doing that, you're limiting yourself. And by doing that, not all of us is meant to be on television.
Yeah.
Not all of us will have jobs on television. And as you can see what's happening with Uzalo, I mean, like, it's amazing. The #1 show in the country.
Crazy.
And people are not getting paid.
It's not the only show.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that thing of TV is not as this golden thing as it used to be. Not that it was, because even back then people were not getting paid enough or getting respected. Again,
I feel like we're missing that point as the industry in SA. Like, we're so clinging onto TV, well, from one side the producers and content creators, as well as the broadcasters, because you can feel the energy when you approach and you have a conversation. They still know, but we have, you know,
and they do, and to some extent they do.
No, they do, but the attitude that they come with is you need what we have. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like you get manipulated into thinking that this is your best shot at doing this and breaking through with your content, whereas there's so many alternatives and in power. I mean, YouTube, it's a global platform, platform. You're literally speaking to the world.
And the thing is, I mean, you look at some of these people and the pool that they have out there, and you're thinking, because, you know, it breaks my heart. I mean, you look at, okay, let me just go back a little bit and say, the fact that DSTV owns every show that they have on their platform.
Yeah.
And now they've got Showmax, where if they take a show from where it aired first and put it on Showmax, the actor or the presenter or whoever was on that show is not getting a cent out of that.
Amen.
Which means if they decide tomorrow that they're going to sell all their Showmax content to an international or even a continental,
you don't get a piece of that.
You don't get anything from that. That breaks my heart. I detest that. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, hey, if you are a business and you find a way of upping your profit margins by screwing the small guy. Hey,
for them it's good
capitalism.
It's annoying and we hate
Yeah.
it. But at the same time, you're kind of like, well, if I was a big business and someone gave me the idea, I wouldn't repeat
You understand?
it.
Because the flip side to that would be to say present companies should not work with multi-choice.
Yeah.
But guess what? They can't do that because they.
Bread and butter. Everybody needs to
That's
eat.
it.
Everybody
So
needs to eat.
man, like we could talk about this forever. Like
It's crazy.
I've gone from being frustrated about the industry, and but now I'm at that space in my career and in my outlook and in my commentary about the industry where I'm like, chill.
You just gotta find solutions because it will
Yeah.
kill you. There's so much to be frustrated about.
My brother, when the Generation 16 thing saga happened, I was like, this is it. You know how the Americans every time something comes up with Donald Trump, they're like, yeah, this is it. He's out.
Yeah.
I was on some.
Times are
This
changing.
is the catalyst moment. This is what's gonna change the industry or whatever.
Not even a dent.
Nothing happened, and if it couldn't happen with that.
Yeah.
If it couldn't happen
Yeah,
with that.
that was kind of a few shows back. She said the same thing. She's
Yeah.
like, "Yo, we saw an entire cast sit it out, and nothing happened." I was like, "Damn." It did. We did have to swallow a heavy L with that one. We're like, man.
Imagine this scenario: on a Monday, all the actors that are in soapies in South Africa don't go to work. I don't care how many people want to be on TV. There is no way that all
Nobody's
these productions will be able to replace them.
Yeah, we need taxi driver mentality.
Do you understand? No, think about this. Like from across all the channels.
Yeah.
Imagine if all these actors, stop being so, self, and said that, you know what, on this particular Monday, that's it. We're down in tools. Because that's what the Americans do on these shows. That's why you've got the writer's strike that nearly crippled Hollywood a couple of years ago, where the writers just said, all the writers on shows,
Set it out. Don't.
yeah. Imagine if all the actors said, until our colleagues, I mean, look at what happened with Hussein Wafetsu. I mean, like, that is, do you understand? And nobody's still not being held accountable for that. I mean, nobody's yet been arrested and all of that. Imagine if all the actors said, you know what? What's happening at the SABC right now is atrocious, it is not right, and it's going to keep happening, so let's just do this. Yes, I'm happy at Scandal, yes, I'm happy at Rhythm City, whatever, but however, in solidarity, with my fellow actors, because who knows, this might end and I might have to go work for the SABC.
Sure.
Let's all down tools. My brother, I'm telling you, the industry will come to a standstill. But if it's just one production company doing it, and one,
because there's always that one person that's willing to take the job that you refuse, though.
Fair enough, but my thing is that, like, if all, especially the soapies, because that's where the money is for the broadcasters and whatever. If all the soapies, if all their actors, especially real actors who've got agencies, who are whatever, if they down tools for a week, there will be real change.
It's true. I could see that.
There will be real change.
I could see that really moving the needle.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. Do you think we're using it right? Social media then, and media.
Oh, absolutely. Hey! I make a living because of social media. Yes, I've never had a 9-to-5 job.
Which is, I have to commend you on that, because I don't know a lot of. Rephrase. I don't know anyone other than you who's doing what you're doing and is actually sustaining a decent, healthy lifestyle with it. So kudos to you. But
Thank you.
For the actors and the content producers and the directors and I know music is doing it pretty well. Comments and compliments to that. In the television and film scene though, are we really optimizing what we can do?
The Fergusons have social media to thank for their success.
Yeah, I'm with you on
Nomza Mombata has social media to thank for her success
For
as an actress. Because her being on Isibaya and
social media.
Social media, was. Look, so, look, like everything else, honestly, let's be real. Before social media, even with traditional media, you had the tabloids and the other magazines, and the question would be like, are the tabloids hating the industry? Yeah. You know what I mean? So social media is like that as well. It's like, yes, there's the other side that is negative and nasty and whatever, but then there's the other side that is beneficial to your career, that could actually help you build your career, that could actually bring you revenue. Because when I try to be all sassy, I always say that I can't believe that somebody's on Generations and their only salary is coming from Generations.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Because I'm believing that if you've got 9 million viewers, you should be getting endorsement, you should be working with brands, you should be having these multiple revenue streams, because you know how it is in South Africa, we don't earn that much. You know what I mean? So if I'm me as film pillar with no TV show, no radio show, no whatever, I'm able to walk into a room and a brand says, we should do something, you have an influence. Imagine somebody who's watched by 9 million people.
Come on. It's a whole different conversation.
You know what I mean? So sometimes it's about the self, in terms of the actor, whatever, having the fortitude and the thinking of wanting to build themselves beyond just being, oh my God, I'm just an actor or I'm just an actress.
Gotcha.
And then on the flip side is just knowing what you want. Because, like, for instance, my Twitter account is an office for me. Do you know what I mean? Occasionally I will rant and whatever, but that's an office. That's why when somebody comes in there and tries to pick a fight with me, I just block them. Because I'm thinking, now you're messing with my money.
Yeah. this is your 9 to 5. Yeah.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
But and because I treat it as such, people don't realize that, like, bro, when I tweet, especially when I tweet entertainment news, the picture that I put there, it's a picture, I've thought of it. I've thought of why am I putting that picture there? How would that picture affect the information that's there?
For sure.
The time of day that I post something, it's thought of.
It's work for you.
Do you know what I mean? I know that if I tweet on this day at this time, it's gonna get this much traction. If I use these words to convey this message, it's things like that.
Yeah.
You understand? So what I do cannot be compared to somebody who just tweeting for the sake of tweeting.
Yeah.
Understand? But to answer your question in simple terms, yes, social media is very important. Social media is a tool that can help the industry move forward, and it's been very beneficial for the industry, and it's not going anywhere.
You've got to end it. My man.
Cheers, man. Sure,
Appreciate
anytime.
that. Appreciate that. Okay.